Welcome back, everybody. Today, we're going to discuss the cameras I use to make these videos. I've been asked by a lot of people what kind of cameras I use to make these, make the videos. And I use basically 3 GoPros, and right here, you're looking at a Canon M50. This is kind of the in studio videos, or sometimes in the boat. I make them with this one. Won't get too in depth into the Canon. This is not a camera channel. I have started recently using this. I bought this Insta360 1X2. It's a 360 camera. I'm not going to review it because I haven't had the best luck of it yet. On certain resolutions, it's kind of weird, kind of bad. But today we're going to talk about the main 3 cameras that I use for my videos. Out of the GoPros, I use 3 of them. GoPro Hero 3 Plus, the GoPro Hero 5 Black, and the GoPro Hero 6 Black. Now, in this video, I'm going to try to refrain from getting too vocal about my opinions on some of this GoPro stuff. Some of the issues that they have, but I will voice my opinion on some of this stuff so you guys understand where I'm coming from, and what if you're possibly looking for a camera for making fishing videos, you kind of make more of an educated decision. First off, now I know we're gonna go. There's all kinds of action camera now. You can buy action cameras for $120. Off-brand stuff, which have good abilities, but hands down, nobody beats the GoPro. Unfortunately, nobody's been able to beat the GoPro in clarity and quality of image and just durability as far as dropping wise. Now, the first one I ended up buying was the GoPro Hero 3 Plus. Great camera. Been with me forever. You still see videos from this all the time. Here recently, all the videos that you've seen from where it's on the trolling motor looking back at me, from the front of the boat looking back, has been this camera. It's been with me for a long time, has a lot of hours on it, and the picture quality is starting to go down here. I can tell the picture's starting to fade, starting to get a little bad. So I've kind of started getting in the market for another camera again, and we're going to get into that in a minute. But the second one is a GoPro Hero 5 Black. Hands down, in my opinion and lots of other people's opinion, and I'm going to back that here in a little bit, the best GoPro ever made. Ever. This is a bulletproof camera. It works. It does what a GoPro is supposed to do. When you hit record, it keeps recording until it fills the card up, or you hit record to turn it off. It is a great camera. It bumped up to 4K 30 and 1080 120, the higher the frame rates, the better your slow motion. You can slow it down. You can slow 120 down to quarter speed, and it's very smooth. It's not jumpy. So you can get pretty darn good slow-mo out of this camera. This one has been on my chest a lot here lately. This is what's been on my chesty. I plug a battery into it, the battery that's in my pocket, and I put a 128 gig card in it, and I hit record. And she records until that card fills up. And then I put a new card in and hit record again, and she goes until that one fills up. She never gives me issues at all. This is a great camera. And I'm going to back that statement I made about being the best one here in a minute. But first, we're going to go into the third camera. The GoPro Hero 6 Black. Horrible camera. Up until the 5, GoPro bought out their processors from a third party. So, again, they worked. They never gave you issues. Well, with the 6, GoPro said, you know what, we're going to make our own processor. This has the GP1 chip, which this is the same chip. Believe it or not, folks, this is the same processor in every GoPro since this one. All the way up to the 9 still has this same processor. And all the way up to the 9, they all overheat. That is their main problem. This camera can do 1080 240, which is amazing slow motion. You guys know I love slow motion. But it's no good because in fishing, you don't know when the action is going to happen. It's not like somebody's coming down a slope on a ski and you go boop, boop, and there you've got the action. No, you don't know when the action is going to happen. So I put this on my console with a battery plugged in it and a big card, and I hit record. And I expect it to be working when I catch a big fish and flop it in a boat. But this camera, even in its air-conditioned room, will overheat when it's on 1080 240. And even 4K 60, it'll overheat. Yes, it has the latest up-to-date software in it. I keep it up to date. I keep all my cameras up to date. It just won't work like a GoPro's supposed to. And it's the same problem with every one up, even to the 9. The 9 overheats too. I kind of like this video I've kind of put off because this isn't a camera channel. But here recently, a friend of mine on Instagram, Joseph Martin, he had a great day. And he said he looked back and the camera was off. Missed most of the fish catching action because it overheated or locked up. Just watched a video today. Louisiana Fish Blog video. Talking about his camera was overheating. It's just enough to, you look back there, you've got a big fish, you flop it in the boat and the camera's off. It's just enough to make you want to throw this across the river. Now, I've found recently that I put this down on 1080 120 for good slow motion. Not great, but good. And it does okay. Still overheats sometimes, but does okay. It still gives me an issue where if it's plugged into a battery too long and it charges this battery 100%, it'll stop recording. I don't know why. I don't know what. The 5 doesn't do that. It'll just stop recording. You hit record, and it'll go beep, and then beep, beep, beep. It'll stop recording. I don't know. You unplug it from the battery, hit record, works fine. I don't know. It's just so buggy. That processor that GoPro made is so buggy and so aggravating, and they keep using it. Another thing about GoPro is that from the 5 to the 6, they made a jump in frame rates. From 120 to 240 at 1080. Now, from that point on, all they've ever changed on a GoPro was the stabilization. They've never changed the resolution until the 9, which they give you 5K now. Nobody uses the 5K. So they've continued to do nothing for their customers. They give you a little stabilization, which is electronic stabilization, which comes with issues. When you have a boat motor running, and your camera's vibrating like that, electronic stabilization gives you a warped look. If you really, you pause a video, you will actually see warped images. So I don't use stabilization on any of my cameras. Now we're going to go back and back my statement on the 5 being the greatest camera. I had originally bought the 6 before the 5 and was very much not happy. Learned about the processor issue, so I went on Amazon and found a 5. At the time, the 5 was $120. I think at the time the 7 was out. So $120 for a 5. It's new. Don't buy a GoPro used. That's like buying a 4-wheeler used. You know what it's been through. So I bought a 5 for $120. Well, up to about a year ago, when the 9 was about to come out, before the 9 was released, the GoPro 5 was $250, which is the same price of a GoPro Hero 7 Black, brand new. 2 models newer. When the 9 was released and it was announced that they're still running the GP1 chip, GoPro 5 jumped in price to $350. $350 for a camera that has had 4 models since then. And in fact, newer models, the 7, and even, well, the 7 is still $250. You go to Walmart and get a 7 for $250. But you go on Amazon and find a brand new 5 for $350. And at the time of recording this, it is currently up to $380. So that should tell you all you need to know about GoPros. My advice is basically, if you want one that's just stupid proof and works, buy a 5. If you just want the newest model, or you really like the 9 that has the front-facing screen, which it's a GoPro. If you got it pointed at you, you're in the frame. There's no need to really line up anything. But if you like that, you're all into that. And I think the 9 does have better battery life. It has a bigger battery. That is one upgrade. If you like the 9, my advice is that don't buy it yet. In a couple months, they're going to release the new model. A couple months, we're going to hear about the Hero 10. If you don't like the features of the 10, that 9 is going to be a lot cheaper in a couple months. So just hold off if you can. Every model is going to get cheaper, other than the 5. With all of that said, what am I going to do for the next GoPro? Because the 3 is starting to show its age. I don't know, because while the GoPro 5 is amazing, it's getting hard to pay $350 when I could buy a newer model for $100 less. Actually, more than $100 less. I'm thinking about getting the 7, putting the 7 on my chest, retiring the 3, and putting the 5 in its place. I can run my chesty on like 60 frames per second, and it should work fine. It should not give me an issue, hopefully. Well, if you guys are still here, hearing me ramble on about GoPro issues and GoPro resolutions, another thing I want to discuss too is it's not always about resolution. Don't always think that when you get the newer model, you're getting a better image. Sometimes you are. You are, sometimes. But in this camera, this form factor, there's a little bitty sensor in here. This camera you're looking through right now, that's 1080 you're looking through. That 1080 will blow this 4K out of the water because of the size of the sensor and the ability of the camera to use all the information that's coming into it. This is all electronically done. That's all mechanically done. And it just looks good. That is where the difference is. So it's not always about getting the latest camera that's packing 5K, 6K, 7K, whatever. This thing here, it does 5.7K. This little 360. It ain't no good at it. The 3K is absolutely horrendous out of this. Horrendous. I can't even hardly use it. The 4K is bad. I don't know. I might send it back. I think there might be something wrong with that one. So, don't always think that you need to have the biggest, baddest, newest cameras to make your videos. You want one that's just going to work, get a 5. All right, I think that's enough rambling on for me, seeing as how this is a fishing channel, not a camera channel. For those who have made it all the way to the end, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share it with your friends, and I'll catch you guys next time.